Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. We want to welcome you to another episode of About You podcast. It's been a minute since we've been back on. I think our last show was Father's Day, but we're super excited today to have another episode of this show. We ask you to invite someone, share the show, and grab your water. It's going to be another fascinating one. So invite someone. We're going to play some music and then we'll be right back with Jump Right Into It.
Tell me where we gonna run go. When them say we have to pay for the oxygen we breathe. Answer me now, Mr. Big Man. You know this everybody want to go and go off for it. A simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love and give me shelter. Simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love and give me shelter. Yeah, wouldn't if you hear me please. This is when you sing me, I sing from the deep. Down in me, I tell me, I feel like the weep. Well, if I think I go on where the people can't sleep, but the burden can become your self-esteem. You are the ones to make life easy, same you are make it harder. And there is nowhere to scatter. Tell me where we gonna run go. After making our motherland a better place to live. Tell me where we gonna run go. When them say we have to pay for the oxygen we breathe. Answer me now, Mr. Big Man. You know this everybody want to go and go off for it. A simple life. It's all we want to live. Give me food, give me clothes, give me love and give me shelter. Simple life.
All right. Invite someone, share the show. We've got to jump right into it. It's going to be another fascinating one. Again, my name is Telvina Cole. Most people know me by Telvina. I take it all. Ayiti, are you able to share the show on your page? Did you get the alert?
Let me see here on my Facebook page.
Yeah. You should have gotten an alert when the show started to say, do you want to live stream this on your page? If not, yeah.
Okay.
Did you get it?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. And then so you can just direct it, and then your audience can see it while we're going.
Okay.
So, like I said, today I am honored to have Mr. Charles Ayiti Williams and another advocate for youth empowerment. Little bit about Mr. Williams. He is the founder and the host of WE2 R Liberians Movement. His goal is to condition the minds of people. And let me find my notes here so I can really get into it. Yeah. But really recondition the minds of people and empower people most of all. And so he's gonna tell it all. Super excited to have him. He's gonna talk about his journey. He's gonna talk about his untold story. So I am super excited. I ask you all to welcome Mr. Williams here this evening. Invite someone, like I said. Like I said earlier, he's dedicated to empowering youth and transforming the global mindset of Liberians. He's a passionate motivational speaker. And he's going to talk about himself, and he loves to MC too. And then aside of him, so he's going to tell it all. He likes to, just help people. He's passionate about Liberia most of all, and so he's going to tell it all. So before we go into it, Ayiti, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
My name is Ayiti Williams. First and foremost, I want to thank you, Telly, for having me on tonight. It's a great opportunity, and it's a pleasure to be able to share time and space with you on this particular day, especially being on the Most Talk About You. Never even heard of it. As I was talking today, I'm like, I saw the logo. I never really thought about it, but just talking to you in the back there, it speaks to the core and the synthesis of what you do too. But to give you a little background about myself, you see Ayiti Williams. It's my name, but you call me Charles Ayiti Williams. Like you said, I'm the founder and the visionary of the WE2 R Liberians Movement. Not only the movement, but also the platform that speaks to and for the masses. We're certainly not in the business. Usually I would say that on my show of manufacturing players, pimps and hustlers. Rather, we're in the business of changing and revolutionizing the thought process of our people, not only in Liberia, not only locally in Liberia, but even around the world. That's globally. I think I want to take it a little bit further by, stating what our mission is. We are dedicated to empowering the socially and morally conscious youth. Our platform aims to educate and cultivate young men and women who are, passionate about addressing the injustices and hardship of society. We also seek individuals who are ready to take responsibility and work toward making a positive change. Then I'd like to take a little bit a step further also by talking about our vision. We aspire to be the premier movement of the 21st century, setting the standard for our counterparts. That's just a little bit about us. And, I'm really excited. Hopefully we'll have people viewing us tonight just to know about what we stand for. I believe our mission and our vision speaks to, just the subject. And hopefully tonight I can be able to say more based on the questions and my responses. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you. Something you said in your introduction, I want you to elaborate more about it. You say you guys are not in the business. They're not the movement is not in the business of manufacturing pimps and hustlers. Yeah. And I laughed about it, but I really want you to expand more about it.
Well, I mean, particularly about it has to do with Liberia. I mean, I believe strongly the situation like Liberia is faced with is far from politics. Usually, I would say the problem that we have is deeply rooted in the quality of people that the country has produced over the years. And so, me growing up and seeing Liberia prior to the Civil War and seeing what Liberia is now, the country has been in the business of actually, manufacturing players, because the individuals that we've produced, they're about themselves, they're about showing off, they're about what they drive, what they wear. So that's why we say that not in the business of actually manufacturing players, pimps and hustlers, because these people are really pimps, they're hustlers, they're about riding the best car, about building the nicest house, so to speak, and just they're all about themselves. But we're talking about people, for example, Liberia have never produced a Nelson Mandela. Liberia have never produced a Thomas Sankara. Liberia have never produced a Kwame Nkrumah. So we say that because we want to make sure that this new Liberia that we're about to talk about, that we're talking about, or we aspire to see, we want to make sure we are producing a better quality of individuals. So that's exactly the background that we come from, and that's why we have that little slogan, so to speak.
So how did the idea come about to form the movement?
So that's a great question. Thank you for saying that. Again, politics is something that I'm very, very far from, and I'm very passionate about Liberia. I want to see Liberia become better, and just by growing up, I came from a background where I felt as though, to some extent, I was disenfranchised in some way, shape, or form, and I grew up, just in an environment where I had to a large extent, no mentor, never had an elder brother that I could look up to as a role model, and so leaving Liberia, that would be something we'll talk about maybe in the latter part of the interview here. I saw the life that children, some of my siblings, some relatives, what they lived, how they lived, and I wanted to make sure to kind of participate. But I'm not a guy who is skewed towards politics, so I thought that the way I could do it, and just looking at the political side, we've not had the opportunity to see any change. So I thought that I think personally that the problem Liberia has to do with the mindset of the individuals. So how can we, if we want to contribute to make a change in the country, maybe we'll have to start with the mindset, because I believe that if we can change the mindsets of our people, then we'll be able to change the things around them. And so I really sat down, was thinking about how can I contribute, how can I come up with some kind of solution to the problem. And I thought that the only way to do it was to kind of tap into the philosophy and the mindset of the people. And that's how this whole movement came about. And it's funny how it started, because I had to think about it, because I'm not a talker. You know, I'm not, I don't know how to talk, to be honest. I would say that people say, oh, I think you do talk. And this one day, you know, it was about, I said, I'm going to do it. So I went on Facebook. First of all, you know, I pinned something on Facebook that I was going live for the first time. And on my way to work, I sat in my truck. You know, I just started out. And it was strategic, because I think it came to me as a more like a vision, and or how do I even, a vision. So when I got in the truck, I'm thinking, you know, start from the knowledge of self. It came that way, because I feel as though, you know, the book says that so a man see himself, so is he. You know, what we think of ourselves is actually who we become. That's the product we will become. So if we can start with the psyche of the people, we can start with the mindset of the people, then eventually we'll be able to pivot from where we are now, you know, to the other side and change the things around us. So that's how this whole thing came about. And then the name, I was thinking about, you know, I'm in the diaspora, you know, and we have people living in Liberia locally. So I wanted to kind of bridge the gap. You know, I have no political side. I do not, you know, segregate, or I don't pick sides. So I wanted to make sure that the way to bridge the gap is to kind of target people here, target people in Liberia, all over the world. And one thing, you know, we also have to understand here is that we're citizens of the world. It's just that we find Africa was demarcated in the 1800s by you know, a group of Europeans. So we are one people, even though we find ourselves there. So I thought that, you know, just kind of having the name WE2, whether you are disabled, whether you are part of the elite, you find yourself as being an impoverished neighborhood, you're a Liberian. So WE2 R Liberians, despite of your economic, your social status, and all that stuff. That's how this whole thing, you know, that's why.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Very interesting. So you repeatedly talk about, you know, one of the goals is to revolutionize and condition or change the thought process of our people globally. So how you tend to go about it? I know you do a lot of podcasting, or, you know, YouTubing or Facebooking, whatever we want to call it, but what other ways do you tend to go about that?
So that's a great question. In the first place, you know, I have not been sociable. You know, I was one of the guys who say, "Nah, I'm done with Liberian people. I'm not going to the function, this and that." So I thought the way to do it in the first place, we have a lot of programs around. So let's start some kind of outreach. In fact, when I first started, I called people before when I did the second show. So I started calling people, and it was funny because the first 2-3 videos kind of gained some kind of traction. So people commented, and then I went ahead and started calling people to talk about the movement, you know, my idea, my ideology. And you know how people are, like, oh yeah, we like what you're doing, you know, we'll kind of come around, this and that. Some people told me, like, Ayiti, you're wasting your time. Because Liberia would never change. But I had this conviction, and I say, you know what, regardless, you know, the book says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I don't have to see it. You know, I feel this thing in me. I have this conviction. So I'm going to go there. You know, I'm just going to keep talking. And then especially sometime last year, somewhere around July, I believe the latter part of July, I started doing this thing. And I say, you know, I'm just going to keep at it. And then when I see people in the street, they say, oh, yeah, like what you doing? Call me, or the teacher, the this and that. You know, and as we got closer to elections, you know what I mean? I feel as though our people sold out. I'm talking about the people that actually vote these people into office. Because the same thing, you know, we'll talk about some of those things. How can they know? You don't know. The man is, you're voting this man into office because he helped maybe one of your neighbors or he helped your kid. But what about the masses? You got 500 children living in your neighborhood, but he helps only one kid or two kids. And you say, oh, he's nice to you. No, it's at your expense. So we want everybody to be a part of it. I hope I'm not diverting a little bit, but
No,
I
no,
kind
no,
of,
no, you're good.
so I thought that no, everybody should have a seat at the table. This national cake, we all should be able to eat it. Not one group of people. So don't allow them to use you when they get ready. To go for election. They play around. And the money that they're giving you, that's your money because it's the country money. The country's money. It's a national cake. We all should have access to it. And that's my thing. How many bedrooms can you sleep in as an individual? How many cars can you drive? Those are the things that I was thinking about, and I always think about. I don't think I need to have $1 million in my account when you have my neighbor right here that's like, he can't even afford $100 or maybe $1. Well, then who am I? So, we'll talk about the concept of I am because we are. So those are the things that constantly ring in my head or runs in my head every day and night. And I say, you know what? No, we have to go out there. We have to say something and we have to talk about it. So the people that, like I said, some people believe it, but, it's just lip service. Oh, I would like, what you doing this, that. And some people are like, oh, my man, it's not going to happen. You're wasting your time. And I believed it. If we get to the point where we have to talk about how we got to this place, how this whole conversation, how we now having it, we will talk about it. But that's how I hope I'm answering the question. I'm a little amped up, and that's how that the whole thing. Now, I believe you asked the question as to how I intend to change the thought process of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, the book says that faith comes by hearing. The more they hear, the more, it will resonate. Eventually, now it'll become a part of it. I know people who I call, talk to, and they tell me to say, I don't want to have a conversation with you because when we talk to you, you get off the phone, my mind goes crazy. So I'm talking about older people. We just had a conversation last week. And he was asking me about the same thing, the mission, the vision, because I shared it with him, the work that you did. And he started asking me as I respond to the questions that he asked. He said, you got it, but we can't continue this conversation because I don't want you to mess my head up. So I believe strongly, the more, and then think about it, the culture that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. I am fostering the concept of I am, because I think the last time, behind the scene, I talk about the story of Domitian. If you read the book of Revelation, Domitian was the last of a Flavian dynasty. After the death of his father, his brother actually was supposed to be he was supposed to succeed his father, but that brother passed away. So Domitian now is emperor, but he came out with all this decree. Anyone who did not believe or adhere to the teaching of Domitian, what he did was he would exile you from the Greco-Roman Empire. And the Greco-Roman Empire at the time was more like the United States or the United Kingdom. But it took one person. Can you imagine that one person? And this is what we're saying. So now we give you the picture of how I am determined. I believe strongly that Liberia will change. Even if I'm not around, I'm not alive to be here to see Liberia change. I know we will set the blueprint, we'll set the pace, and somebody will come and walk into it. You know what I mean? Who would have ever thought that America would have a black president? America now have a black president. In 1957, who would ever thought that a young man named Kwame Nkrumah, will emerge, to liberate his country? Asian Ghana became a Ghana, and we see now Ghana is an example on the continent. So I do believe, I believe strongly if we, someone once said that the distance between doubt and destiny is action. So we just got to keep working at it. We got to keep working at it. It's like gravity, It's going to happen. And the more we keep saying it, the more we keep with these little programs, there will be other programs that we intend to initiate. So we have our calendar events coming up. But what we want to do now, we want to work with existing organizations that already have. They're already doing the work. We want to support their vision. If they align with our vision, we want to make sure that we support them until we can begin to do something independent. So like this past weekend, the movement actually attended a drug violent, I believe, in gun violence or drug addiction awareness walk. So we were there, we supported them. The next day we went for a beauty pageant that they had, called the Minority Center. So we were there, we supported it. And that's what we want. Besides that, I represented the WE2 movement as a guest speaker at an elementary school. And this school is in Liberia. Somebody was like, "Oh, Liberia, you going to go and speak to the people?" Those are the people I want to talk to. I want to talk to the people that are down there. And the strategy here is to actually identify, like I said, the socially and morally, even if it is 20 young kids, maybe 5 or 6 years old, those are the kids that I want to target now. And then pitch the idea and the ideology. Then we can have a whole school, because we have a generation that's going to graduate, and maybe even if they want to go to college, they're moving into college with this ideology of I am because we are. The WE2 culture fostering, the idea of I am because we are. I'm only doing good if you're doing good. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. Let me just I'll stop for a little bit, and so that you send my way more questions.
No. I mean, you just ran right into it. I was going because I read something on your page about the WE2 culture, and so and I read fostering the concept of I am because we are. You're gonna talk about it, but I want you to talk more about I'm only doing good if you are doing good.
Okay, so now I'll go back to it, because I thought that I was talking too much, right? And I didn't end the story of John, who of Domitian, who was the emperor of the Greco-Roman Empire. So he came out with these decree that anyone who did not adhere to his teaching, he would exile you to an island called Patmos. So while he was doing that, he was disenfranchising these people, an interesting gentleman by the name of John came on the scene. A young man. He was only 17 years old. While everybody was bowing down to this man, John said, "No, I'm not going to bow down to his decree." So when immigration officers and other people saw that John was being defiant, and that's civil disobedience, you know what I mean? So they decided to let Domitian know that we got this one kid who is not adhering to your teaching. And so Domitian said, "You'll bring him," and told John that you were no longer welcome to this empire. Decided to send him off to an island called Patmos. And like I said in the lecture that we had back there, maybe a couple of days ago, on that particular isle of Patmos was a place of economic and social life. Nothing. I mean, I'm telling you, you go in there, you can't survive it. You're going to die. But because of John's conviction and belief, he was not doing it for himself. He had heard of the Kurusan, the Evangelion, the good news of Jesus Christ, understood the concept of I am because we are, and said, me knowing that this is not about me, it's about the entire, Maya Angelou said something, she said, every time you see me, I come as one, but I stand as thousands. So every time you see yourself, you represent a constituent of people, generation that's going to come after you. And that was what John saw. And because of what John did, God gave John a revelation. After God saw that John had gone through a process, John was able to regurgitate everything that God told John. John was able to give it to the people of Asia, and because of that, those people were emancipated. So it has to come from a place of conviction. Believe it. You alone have the ability and the propensity to change a whole generation because of your thought process. And this is what we believe strongly, that we are willing to die for this. You know what I mean? Jesus left 2,000 years ago. We're still talking about it. That can go. You know what I mean? I can go to a white school now. We got black and white going to the same school. We can go to the same shopping center, even though we're not really we don't really have equity, but at least it's happening. So having said that, we believe strongly that with the concept of I am because we are, this culture, fostering this culture of I am because we are, I'm only doing good because you're doing good. People hearing it and we start acting it. What I have, I can share with one kid. I gotta have a piece of shoes or something, some kind of shirt. Let me share with my brother. How many pair of shoes do I need in my closet? How many clothes do I need? Wearing Gucci with the best car, and then see my brother. Even with the churches, go to the church right now. They got glass window, and the people next to them don't even have food to eat. So what kind of life is that? So we need to foster. We need to push this concept of I am. And that's where the concept of I am because we are came from.
Wow, that's a powerful one. I am because we are. Ooh, I'm taking that with me. Yeah, still on the on the movement. Tell us more. Is the movement registered here in Liberia? Is it a registered organization, or tell us about it.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, we went ahead. When we were on the raw Facebook, just doing our thing. People got captivated by the messages too. The teaching. Especially. And we talk about it. How can they know? We had topics like what does it mean to be a Liberian? We had topic. We're talking about reconstruction or the realignment of Liberia. What's necessary? That was a topic that we talk about. We even talk about the knowledge of self. So people started coming around like, oh, Ayiti, I want to be a part of you. Because the goal, yes, we were registering this and that. But to answer the question, we are registered 501c3. And we all because we intend to go beyond just Malcolm X once said, he said, we can only talk the talk, we got to walk the walk. So we can only be here, on social media just talking, using some people say, oh, look, my man, you Satya, you this and that. We want to make sure that while we're talking, at least the people need food to eat. Right. We can be talking all this, the people need food to eat and need clothes to wear. People lied to the people and told them that there's a place up there called heaven. So they have to live the heaven here. So we're talking, we want to make sure let them enjoy their life. Let them have, the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, all that stuff. This is we're not only talking, but we want to make sure that we're walking the walk. So to answer the question, I'm going all over the place. I'm a little empty up. Yes, we are registered as a 501c3, and our website's in the works. Here locally in the great United States of America, we intend to also spread to Liberia. So the goal is not only America, like I said, diaspora globally. We intend to be everywhere, and we believe that back in the days, your community was more of a. Say for example, I live in Liberia. My community was just my house, maybe somewhere to call rubber farm. If you live in shoe factory or community, but now in the community you have a whole spectrum of people because we do have social media. So I'm targeting the entire world, wherever Liberians are. In the trenches, who knows? Eventually, this idea can spill outside even the Liberian community. People can gravitate to that concept of I am because we are, but we are registered as a 501c3 to answer that question.
Excellent. So still on the organization, somebody hearing you, they just got fired up, just heard your fire up and say, I like to be a part of something positive. I like to be a part of that group. How can they join the group? Is there room to join? How can they follow you? Tell us more.
Yeah. Sorry if I cut you off.
No, it's okay.
Well, you as you know, we are actually we were just on Facebook, and now we have a YouTube channel. We're on Facebook. Instagram is coming up, and Twitter and all that stuff. So yes, you can follow us. Go on. It's WE2 R Liberian, and then you can type in Ayiti Williams on YouTube. When we have our shows, we don't have a specific time where we come up. We do it as on a need basis or whenever we feel like it. But that's something we'll be working on because we have to make sure that our team, we have a group of people who have their personal obligations. So you can follow us on Facebook. You can follow us on YouTube and things else. So all the social media. In addition to eventually, I know Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. And then also, we have our numbers here. We will in subsequent time we'll make it available. You can contact us. Definitely, like we said, we aspire to be the premier movement of the 21st century. And what we are targeting people who are socially and morally, conscientized. That's exactly what we want. So if you feel like our ideology or our mission, our vision align with that's exactly what we want to do. We want to have a conversation, and hopefully you can understand what we're saying. If it makes sense to you, definitely come. But this is about changing the mindset. We want to raise people to be independent, people to be empowered, to see themselves different and see the word different, enjoy this word, because the book says in Jeremiah 11:29 says that, for I know the plans that I have for you. While people suffer and die, and when he says that my plans for you is not to harm you, to prosper you and to bring you to an expected end. Your expected end is not for you to drink dirty water. Your expected end is not for you to live in the slum. Your expected end is not for you to go to the decrepit schools. Your expected end is not for you to suffer, don't have access to good health care. So those are the things we want you to know. Once you know that, then you set yourself up to be able to acquire those things, because at the end of the day, you're here. You're not a spectator. You come here to cultivate the earth, to replenish the earth, and to make an impact, so that when you go now, we're here. All we're doing, we're passing through. But we have to set the pace. And we have a mandate. For those of us who have come here, what we have to do with the people that are going to come behind, we have the mandate to make sure that they will come and exceed us. That's what we need to do. So we have to strive and make every effort to reach the mark. Hope I answered that question.
You certainly did. Thank you for sharing. And I've dropped the link in the comment section for people to watch it, to subscribe to your channel and follow the work that the organization is doing. So if anybody, the link is there, you can click on it, look at past videos, and just follow their activities. But I wanted to, because I've been watching a lot of the videos, and I wanted to talk about maybe 2 or 3 of them. I'll bring one up first. I think this is my best one. This one, how can they know until they have a teacher? The first question there, how do you come up with your topics? Because they're just mind blowing. So tell us what, if you don't need to give out your secret sauce, but just tell us a little bit.
No, I'll tell you, it's funny because, that's an interesting question. How can they know until they have a teacher? I have a mentor, Dan Wilson. One time he called me and he's like, I follow your page, and those questions, those topics that you come up with, there's a spirit that passes around during the nighttime. They're dropping, they're giving it to you. To be honest, I'm sitting there like I'm a deep thinker, and I would sit there like, all right. So because most of the time, I think we'll always focus on the not the problematic, but the catastrophe. So after all this stuff happened, is when we start thinking about how we can solve the problem. But we need to start thinking about what's responsible for the catastrophe. So, and when I said that, I said, but then I think the problem our people have definitely is because the reason why people are doing the things that they're doing, no one's there to teach them. Right. They don't have any teacher. So if like I said before, if you know that water dirty, you will not drink it. Right. If you know that car or that road is not built right, you won't drive on it. You know what I mean? But because our people don't know, so those topics, come from thinking, and sometimes God just dropped them in my spirit. And besides that, the things that I read the Quran. I read the Bible, and if you read the Bible and the Quran asks that question, but it's not in that form. How can they know until they have a teacher? So we have the teacher. So I think God bringing teachers our ways. And I want to say something, not to say that, we try. Jesus said something. He said, he was talking to his disciple, and he said, someone would say, oh, my man, but look at you. How are you just using scriptures here? I think it's important because the Bible is our moral is our spiritual compass. And Jesus said, he was talking to his disciple, he said, expedient that I go now, because if I don't go, the comforter won't come. He was speaking of another person. He was speaking of someone in third person because he was talking to his disciple. I'm not trying to compare us to Jesus or to God, but we are the guys. We are the small guys. He said he was leaving. He was talking about someone else. And that Jesus could be you, because you know what? There was one point in time in your life where you were down. You were low. So we have to see him not only in the noun form, that's the N-O-U-N, but see him in the verb form. Because you have people who come and they're Christ-like. So the thing, and that's why Jesus was talking about, I'm leaving, people will come. But because we overlook the people, the man will come, the man trying to teach you, the man trying to help you. You got people living, their eyes that can't see. You got mouth you can't speak, got ear you can't hear. And people there to teach you, to guide you, but you're not giving them the opportunity. So to go back to how the question come about, it's the same thing. It's about thought process. You're sitting there, you're thinking about, what is the strategy? How can we get to these people? So we believe that Oh yeah, we teach them, then they will know. But if they don't know, then it's funny to say. There's another saying that says that what you don't know don't hurt. So the drinking dirty water, the air, you don't know, the breathing in bad air. You know, someone building the man builds his house or his well, his well that he drinks from is right next to a septic tank. And then if you look at the contour of the land, the septic drains into the where he drinks it, he gets sick, and he lies, says someone kill him and wish him, you know. So you really sit down and you think about it. That's the solution, or those will be the solutions to the problem like we're at. Fundamentally, we need to go and address these things. You know, once we do that, we start helping our country. We'll have a whole different new Liberia around the sense, and the Liberia will be better. So that's how those topics come back from thinking.
So somebody's listening and be like, okay, I want to know, but I don't know where I can find the teacher. You know, so where can they find the teacher?
You know, it's funny, Telly, because my little brother, when I started doing this, you know, he's been on my tutelage now for a while. And he says to me, oh, you know, what are you doing? You started a long time. Even a friend of mine told me, because he said, but Ayiti, how you know all these things? I really been doing my small reading, researching way back. So when it comes to having a conversation, they just come. They come naturally. So we've been doing it behind the scenes. And I think this is a perfect opportunity, you know, to use social media that people are using for the wrong reason. Somebody cursing somebody doing this and doing that, gossiping this and that. This is a perfect opportunity for us to spread the word. So we are spreading the word of God, but in a different way. You know what I mean? We're preaching this is the gospel. This is the true gospel. We're not hiding anything. You know, I was just listening to Cornel West, who is I call him a intellectual freedom fighter. He speaks truth to power, and on a very serious note, the education that we have, you know, you got cheap education, then you got something called idea. I think it's a Greek word, and because cheap education, you can graduate from Howard University and still not be educated. You know why? Because you're not using your education to really empower the people. And the guy who is speaking truth, who emancipating these people, who opening the eyes of the people. You think when Jesus was talking about giving sight to the blind, you think was just literally giving something, but people got eyes can't see. So those are the things that we want to talk about. And this, seriously, after this show, I'm pretty sure somebody who will listen to this show will be inspired and say, you know what, I better pick up this mat or throw this mat away, because this is faith. We're speaking words into existence, and we believe that Liberia will be better. So I hope this also answers the question that you asked.
Certainly. So another video that stood out to me, another one, let me bring that. There's another one, for lack of knowledge, the people perish. You want to talk a little bit about this one? I know you probably kind of went there, but
obviously, definitely. It ties into how can they know until they have a teacher. And that's what I was saying. Mm-hmm. These are topics, you know what I mean? For lack of knowledge, the people perish, you can talk about it all year round. How can they know until they have a teacher? We could be talking about it for a long, long time. We live in a country where the continuous quality improvement. People are improving things. So a lot of things that happen in Liberia, they happen because our people don't know. The kid who, can you imagine a kid only wants to graduate high school, find some kind of way, even if you actually go to the university, but he wants to work at a bank and can't do simple arithmetic. The girl wants to be a college professor. She can write simple sentence. You understand what I'm saying? And then another thing that he wants to be representative, or he wants to be a minister, this and that, because this is what he's been taught. And then two, lack of knowledge, the people perish because we're not teaching them, we're not giving them knowledge, we're not exposing them. They're suffering. We have all the resources around us, everything that we need, but we are perishing because there's no knowledge. We've not been taught. We aligning ourselves with the wrong people. You know, you're standing on diamond, gold, and silver, but you extend your hand to the Western world for your salvation when you have everything that you need. So that's where, you know, this lack of knowledge, the people perish, comes from the Holy Bible, as well as the Quran. And these are things that I think that we really need to talk about. If our people are taught, our people are given the right information, you know, they're taught properly, they won't perish. Because of lack of knowledge, they're dying. For example, the man who will, you sick. Somebody got some kind of Tylenol, right? Tylenol, and they wrap it in the plastic. They're selling it. Aspiration, they where it coming from, where it's not coming from. You don't know. You're taking it, and they take it, and blessingly, they survive it. But with you and me, you know, will you take some kind of Tylenol that been in the sun and drink and swallow it? No. So for lack of knowledge, the people really do perish, you know. And the reason why you want to continue to aspire to be better, because you of knowledge, you're concerned, you want to add value to your life, you want to know the things that you do. You think if you had just been sitting there, you would be better? Your hands making provision for you. So for lack of knowledge, not to repeat what the topic is, it's simple, it's clear, the people continue to perish. So if we learn, but one thing, you know, I want to talk about that for lack of knowledge, then I can close on it. You know, can you imagine nowadays, same thing, quality of children that we're producing. People don't want to work. People don't want to add value to their life. They don't want to endure. You know, Muhammad Ali said one thing. He said, I hated every moment that I had to train, but I said to myself, suffer now and live the rest of my life a champion. So, you know what I mean? If we instead of to show yourself a proof, you know, those things are for lack of knowledge, the people perish. So you instead of to show yourself a proof, how you survive, how you make it when you're supposed to go take an exam and pass, but you won't go spy, you won't cheat. You know, it's a Liberian way to spy or cheat. So you're suffering as a result of the fact that you're not applying yourself. Go and get knowledge. We're already made with that. We were born with knowledge. You know, but we have to now try to tap into the acquisition of knowledge so that we can be better. So
I love it. I love it. Suffer now, enjoy later.
Yeah. Suffer now.
I'm taking a lot of
and live the rest of your life a champion.
Yeah, live it like a champion. I love it. I love it. Too many inspirational nuggets tonight.